Okay, Higgins. So which function are you appearing for?
Hello, sir. Yeah, I'm appearing sir function 3
So you are
safety.
appearing for function 3. Okay. Function 3. Can you name the function as
So
per DG?
function 3 is a COSCPOOL, that's possible. So it's control operations of ship and care for personnel on board at operational level.
Okay, correct. Okay, Higgins. What kind of vessels you have sailed on?
So I have sailed on one vessel as a junior engineer on a container vessel.
Container. So tell me what is the firefighting, fixed firefighting arrangement for cargo hold in your container vessels?
So we use a CO2 fixed firefighting system.
Okay, CO2 fixed firefighting system. Correct. Then how is the detection of the firefighting? I mean, how is the detection, fire detection taking place?
Yes, sir. So in the CO2 room, there is one unit wherein we keep drawing samples from various cargo holds. So from that, depending if there is fire, so that smoke will be detected, and then we know which cargo hold has fire.
Okay, so continuous sample detection system is working then. Okay.
So the problem right now is to clearing MEO class for all 6 writtens and 4 orals ASAP, because you cannot go on ship till the time you do that, and I understand the pressure. So right now how I can help you is, guys, please go for this MEO class for live classes that we have started. I guess there'll be amazing results awaiting you. Apart from that, if you are worried about how will you perform as a fourth year, third year on board ship, why don't you invest on fourth year, third year excellence package, which is again available on Merchant Navy Decoded platform. ये जितनी चीजें आप ही लोगों के लिए बनाई है, I am waiting that you achieve success and I achieve damn good results. Take care. Bye.
So can you tell me the process of, say there is a fire in a cargo hold?
Mhm.
How will you go about the deployment of the CO2 system?
So first, we have to make sure one is around that cargo hold area because CO2 could be dangerous for any personnel and who are somewhere close by in the vicinity.
Okay.
Second thing, we have to make sure that first we have to know what type of containers are there. Like if there are some dangerous cargo because they have their uh, according to the dangerous cargo code, they have certain rules and regulations or procedures that has to be followed. So we have to go through that as well, and we can
And what
also
is that code
try
called? What is that code for the dangerous goods that you are mentioning?
IMDG code.
IMDG. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, so then what we can do is from the boundaries, we can start with the boundary cooling first. Try to see if we can cool down the boundary temperature. So
Mhm.
once that comes down, that could also help us in reducing the or extinguishing the fire.
Okay.
And once everything is checked, then upon finalizing, then we can release the amount of CO2. Depending on the cargo hold, we can activate that CO2 for the particular cargo hold.
Really, don't you have any, this thing, extraction, this vent fans, venting arrangement? Don't you need to shut the venting arrangement for your cargo holds?
So that would be closed automatically once we activate the CO2 for that particular cargo hold.
Sure.
No, so I'm not exactly sure because I had started this for the engine room where the vent fans, the blowers, they shut off automatically once the system is activated.
Okay. And what else you will do then? How will you activate? Say you now you have got the, so you have mustered everybody. You have got chief engineer's permission to mm, use CO2. Now chief engineer is going to the CO2 room. How is this process working? The CO2, this thing, deployment of CO2 in a cargo hold. Say fixed cargo hold number one cargo hold you have to use CO2 for. Then how will you do it?
So in the CO2 room, depending on the cargo hold, there are various points wherein we can activate it. So depending on how much CO2 is required, it is already set. So once we activate that for, let's say, as per what you said, cargo hold number one, so that much amount of bottles will send the CO2 to the cargo hold.
Okay, so you can do it by manual also. Manually required number of CO2 bottles you can deploy. Otherwise, you have set of this thing, no? What is called the through the mechanism that we use for the bottles, the
Like they
pilot
will be
pilot pilot
grouped in.
cylinders. No, it is
Right,
grouped
right,
like that, right?
right, sir.
Okay. Okay, tell me the checks in the CO2 system that needs to be carried out at say monthly.
For the fixed CO2 system for engine room.
Yes, engine room deck. You
Okay.
have one CO2 system, no? In
Yes,
container
yes,
ships.
yes. So what we will do, the most frequent checks that we'll do monthly, right? So for monthly, what we'll do first, we'll check that all the CO2 bottles are secured properly.
Mm-hmm.
Check if there is any rusting or if any damage is there on the bottle itself.
Okay.
Second thing we need to check is we need to check the release valve. If it is sticking, we need to make sure that it is functional. And also we have to check for once the system is activated if the blowers are shutting off automatically.
Okay, Higgins. Now we'll move to another section. Are you aware of what EEDI is?
Energy efficiency index.
Design index. So what is it actually?
So it is the amount of CO2 that is released per grams of CO2 which is released
Mm-hmm.
per ton. If I'm not, I cannot
Ton
recollect it
mile.
actually.
Ton
Per
mile
ton
of
per
distance
mile.
covered.
Yes, sir.
Okay, EEDI. So what is the relevance of this EEDI concept?
So EEDI is a set value that has to be followed when new ship is constructed, so
Acha.
that it
Okay.
is set. So we have to follow that one, so that the ship is efficient enough and it doesn't produce excessive pollution.
By pollution, you mean what are the pollutants that we
This
are
is
talking here?
it will be for the SOx and NOx.
SOx and NOx. Then why are you mentioning CO2 in your formula? Grams CO2 per ton mile. So the pollutant that we are talking here is CO2, right?
Yes.
That is what. And how does this formula you are originating this grams of CO2 produced per ton mile? Can you elaborate this formula to me? The components, grams of CO2 produced.
Also, I'm not sure of the formula.
Okay. Do you know the concept for EEXI?
As in how it would be calculated.
EEXI. What is E? Since you have explained EEDI, can you tell me what is EEXI?
So EEXI is the energy efficiency of the existing ship. So that would
Okay.
be of the particular ship once like what is there currently.
Mm-hmm.
So if that measure is not meeting, then we have to take certain steps which would help us to reach that required value.
Value. Okay. And the formula is similar in the lines of what EEDI is. EEDI is for new vessels, EEXI for the older ones, right? So,
Existing, yes.
what measures are you talking about? Can you tell me a few measures that through which you will reduce this CO2 emissions from your vessel? So you have
Also,
mentioned, right? You mentioned that there are some measures. If my CO2 is exceeding a limited value, the value that is exceeding, so I can use some measures to reduce this CO2 emission from the existing vessel, right? To bring it
right,
under
sir.
a limited value, limited amount. So what are those measures that you are talking about?
No, so I'm not sure of
Okay.
the exact measure.
Try, think of it. If you are say it is somewhere you have read it,
No, so I
not
cannot
yet.
recollect it.
Okay. Can you tell me what is free surface effect?
So free surface effect happens in ships, especially in tanks when tanks are not fully filled,
Mm-hmm.
let's say partially filled. So what happens is when the ship heels or rolls, that times the fluid tends to move on one side. So it causes a change in the virtual center of gravity. So due to this, the ship gets unstable. stability is lost.
Anything else? So free surface effect basically on tankers is, or any tank with
Any
fluid,
vessels,
is causing the vessel to be unstable.
right, sir?
So whether it is not somewhere helping in stability, also coming back again into the same GM value.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you, sir.
I mean, are you presenting free surface effect which is causing only the ship to be unstable, or is there any other relevance also of this free surface effect?
It causes stability issues majorly. That's the main thing.
Okay. Okay. So are you aware of the load line markings? What are those, and under which convention does this load line markings being made?
So load line convention, that's the international load line convention. It comes
Okay.
under that. So these are basically the markings up to which a ship can be loaded. That's the load line in various different types of waters that would have different densities.
Okay. So what are those? Can you name the these things, load line markings?
We have the summer load line, winter North Atlantic, tropical and tropical fresh.
So 5. Okay. Okay. So these are depending on the density of water that
The
vessel
ship
will
is
be loaded up
going.
to. So what is freeboard?
Right. So
What is
freeboard is
freeboard?
the distance. Yes, so freeboard is the distance that if we measure it from the load line, the the water line, sorry, from the water line to the deck level.
Mhm. Distance from the water line to the deck level, deck line, or is it margin
Yes,
line?
deck line, sir.
Sure. Okay. Now, what is SOLAS chapter 9?
So SOLAS chapter 9 refers to the safe operational methods that would consist of this ISM code. So it talks about all the safety procedures that we have to follow. Like for example, a ship would have its specific SMS, which will have all the operational procedures that has to be followed to get the work done safely.
Okay. So what is ISM code? International Safety Management Code. Okay. So what
Yes,
is
sir.
the difference between a code and a convention?
So convention is basically the one that is accepted by the different state and it is binding over everyone. The code gives you the set of rules that has to be
So
followed.
ISM code is not mandatory. By that you mean ISM code is not mandatory.
So it
It's a
would
set of
not be
rules.
mandatory if it no sir, it would not be mandatory if it would be separate. But right now it is a code that is embedded into the convention, so it's become compulsory to follow.
So that is what I am asking. What is the difference between a code and a convention? It's a set of rules that need to be followed. But how does a code become mandatory?
Once it is adopted and accepted by
Convention. Like SOLAS is a convention, and then ISM code is a part of chapter 9 of SOLAS. So that becomes
yes, it's
mandatory.
part. It comes under
ISPS
the
part is a part of
convention.
chapter 11. Okay. So what is the role of what do you know what is DPA?
Yes, sir.
DPA.
So DPA is a designated person assured.
Yeah. As per ISM, what is his duty or role?
Designated person assured.
Role of DPA.
So a designated person ashore or the DPA is basically a link between the shore and the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So what he plays is that any measures or decision that has to be taken regarding safety would be first considered with him, and he is the person who is in touch with all other authorities. Let's say we have some leakage or something, then we need to first inform the DPA, so he will inform to the required authorities.
Okay, so DPA is the one who is looking after your SMS and ISM implementation on board, right? So
Make sure
anything
that
which goes
it
wrong,
is
that way
followed
you are
properly.
correct. Okay, which you report it to DPA. DPA will carry forward to the respective flag state and the classification society, etc. and the other
That's it.
authorities.
That's
Okay. Tell me the difference between garboard strake and shear strake.
So garboard strake is the strake which is just after the keel strake, and shear strake it is the topmost strake on the side which is thicker, and it is at the side shell which is at the tops.
Okay. So the shear strake is just beside your deck
Yes,
plate,
yes,
and
right.
garboard strake is from the
Just below the
bottom,
keel,
just above the
after the
keel.
keel strake.
Hmm. Okay. So since you have done container vessels, can you tell me what is a torsion box and
So
why is
torsion.
it relevant for container vessels? Do you find torsion box in other vessels also?
So for containers, what happens is we have a big hollow area. So what we need to uh, prevent racking forces that would tend to shift the hull. So for that sense, it's like a structural member that is running on both the sides of the hull. So
But then what happens? What is the reason why you give a torsion box? Why
so
not in other vessels, only on containers?
we have to give it in vessels when the opening is large. So,
Mhm. Mm. And what do you mean by racking?
so racking is uh, when the planes move parallel to each other, and they form like a shearing force
Shearing
on.
force. Okay. So there comes the role of torsion box, which is structural member which does not let this racking effect take place. So this bunker delivery node BDN, in which Marpol annex does this BDN come into, and what is the relevance of a BDN?
So BDN comes is NX6 because it has all the details regarding the pollutions which
So,
could be
but
created. Like
don't
for
you
example,
think,
the sulfur.
just a second, don't you think since we are talking about oil, it should come in annex 1?
No, sir. Just because it is oil, it would not come in NX1 because NX1 talks about the pollution by oil when the oil can go overboard,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
could cause a problem for the environment. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about this BDN would give us these certain values which would tell us about the emissions like from the gases. So that gas part would be related to NX6, which is the pollution prevention of pollution from air pollution.
Okay. So, what all data is mentioned in BDN? Can you tell me what all components are there in BDN?
So majorly, what we would check is the sulfur content while taking the BDN. Also, the CCA, that's the carbon aromatic index, that is also mentioned.
Okay.
C C is mentioned
CII.
here. So that's CIA. Yes, sir.
Okay, you are getting confused here. Okay. When do you get a BDN? Say ki, what is the criteria? And since you have mentioned sulfur percentage, what is the global sulfur cap?
So globally, we use 0.5%,
Mhm.
and in ICA regions, we have to use 0.1%
0.1% of sulfur in the fuel that is used on board.
in the fuel. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what is the process to which who will give you a BDN?
So BDN, we receive it when the bunker barge will arrive. They will give us the BDN. So we have to check all the parameters,
Okay.
and depending on all the parameters, then we have to agree to it, and then we can start the bunkering.
So BDN you will get it in the start of the bunkering or at the end of the bunkering?
So the quantity and all is mentioned on it. So how much quantity we are bunkering and what is the grade, what is the sulfur content, everything is mentioned. But as per what I remember, we used to get it at the start, so they used to give it to us
No, it's at the end. It's
at the end.
at the end because you never know amount of bunker that you have been supplied. That is the question. No, that is why your chief engineer keeps on fighting the bunker barge. No, so final
Right.
amount that is settled in your BDN is the amount that is the actual amount. And where is it officially mentioned? From the BDN, the data goes to some place. Say
It goes to
when
the
you
ORB,
ORB, right? ORB
part one.
part one.
That's
What is
under
part two and part one? Can you tell me what is the difference? Part two and part one?
sub ORB part one basically has all the entries, which would be like, for example, the sludge collected per day in
So
some,
from
let's say,
machinery space.
yes, machinery spaces.
So that is
Then
ORB part one, machinery space entries, and ORB part two is your
part two is for cargo residues and all
cargo
the
oil residue. So in tankers, you will find ORB part two.
part two.
Okay. Like your ODM, CS is running, etc., will be entered into ORB
Part
part two. And ORB part one is your related
for
to. So
bunkering all.
ORB comes under which Marpol convention?
So ORB will again come under the same. No, sir. ORB will come under NX1 because that is regarding the
Oil,
oil that
oil
is
pollution.
moving through. Yes,
So your
because that is
OWS,
road and air
bills,
pollution.
uh,
That's
OWS entries, bilge
OW.
entry, sludge entry, okay,
Right.
sludge that you give to barge, that will all go into RB1.
That is discharged through the OWS and all those entities.
Yes. So that is why I'm saying that BDN data is important because that will same entry will be made by the chief engineer in the ORB part 1.
ORB.
So that is where he will agree to the amount of bunker he has received, and then he will put his stamp and sign at the end of bunkering. So you will receive it at the end. Okay, you got it? BDN.
Okay, sir.
What is FSS code?
So it is a fire safety code which has all the conventions of different firefighting measures or different firefighting techniques that can be used.
So what is the full form of FSS code? Not aware. I think we are done with orals. So let's review. Okay, almost I have asked you about 8 to 10 questions. Let's review. How do you think you have done?
So right now, for me, it's my third attempt for safety, sir. Initially, I tried for 2 times, but first time, okay, the problem was with notes, and I couldn't find all the material. So right now, considering what I have studied, like major.
So this is your COC attempt
Hello.
for safety. You are appearing for your COC.
Yes, only safety is remaining now. All other returns and orals are gone.
Okay, so there for safety you are now appearing for third time.
Yes, the last time I appeared along with the electricals, which I
Achha, so
already
you got
cleared. So
electrical, now
now
it's
it's only
only
safety.
safety. Achha, achha.
Yeah, only safety is the problem.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but I think mostly you are able to answer all the questions. Overall, if we can say that you are able to attempt whatever being asked.
Yes.
Somewhere here and there, it will be. I know, I
But I
understand.
usually had a problem. So last two orals, the only problem was I could answer the first question. The only becomes a problem the cross question because
Mhm.
once they get that one thing that you don't know, they just stick to that, and
That
they
only. They don't move out of it.
they don't go to the next part.
Next part.
That is it. I had, especially for CO2, I had an issue where they were asking me about this leakage alert.
Hmm.
So I told them about, like, they asked me what or how you could know if there's a leak in the CO2 bottles. So I told them about the pressure switch and the pressure gauge which is there. So what they were saying that it is not like that. They are not telling you the answer as also. They are expecting something else in that. So he was confusing me with the relief valve, where it is situated and why, if it is exactly in the CO2 room or somewhere else.
Mhm.
And I also told him that there would be a pressure switch on the bottle itself, which he was not agreeing to. I'm not sure if it's incorrect.
Pressure switch is, I think, in the line pressure.
But sir, if we have a specific bottle that is leaking, let's say there's a hole or something, just
Mhm.
assuming, but
Mhm.
that will not be detected in the pressure switch which is in the manifold. Huh?
That is why you think. That is why you are weighing the CO2 bottles, no? From time and
Oh,
again.
yeah, yeah, that's what I said. But what he has to say is, till we weigh the bottle, what if the CO2 is already gone and we don't know? So I read it online somewhere. I cannot recollect which website it was exactly, where they said that there's a pressure switch on the bottle itself. So since the bottles are maintained around 56 bar, it gives an alarm when the uh, pressure drops to about 45 or 46 bar.
I think I'll have to cross check because I cannot comment. Like I will let you know about this.
So, but generally, if they ask, what do I tell them? Only the pressure switch in the manifold and weighing the
Yeah,
bottles.
that is what I am aware of.
Okay, okay, sir.
Because as the pressure will drop, then your alarm will be there. CO2 low pressure alarm will come.
Okay, sir. And one more this doubt I had is, I checked for this garbage record book where there are two parts for it. One is for compulsory for all ships, and part two is specifically for this bulk carriers.
I don't think garbage is common, no, for all the vessels.
No, sir, he was the surveyor. He was asking me what is the specific part or book which is separate for the bulk carrier.
Regarding garbage,
Garbage record, yes. He asked specific for the bulk carrier. So as per what I checked, I found that there were two parts, but he, like, I had studied that, but he was not agreeing to that. I'm not sure if there is something else with that.
I don't think garbage record book here. But so two parts you have. So other part, what is there apart from general garbage record? What is there other in this?
They said it was the part one is for general garbage, whatever records, general what we maintain for all the ship, and part two was specific, as in like any residues or something which have to be,
Yeah.
like, disposed of.
Okay, okay. The जैसे कि iron ore का residue is there,
Right.
alumina, silica, whatever they are
Something,
carrying that
something like
vessel.
that, because I couldn't
Cargo
find
residue regarding cargo
cargo
residue.
residue. I couldn't find more details on
Maybe. I'll just check this. So
the
this is
website.
one question I have to and CO2 room that pressure drop, no? CO2 bottle pressure drop.
Yes, sir. And one last question, which they asked me last time, was
Yes.
about this latest amendments. So, latest amendments, there is no specific place where I'm finding the exact latest amendments which would be proper to give as an answer. Because the, let's say for any, whichever NHS,
I'll tell
the
you the
latest
latest,
ones.
the place where you can find it. Go to IMO
Okay,
website
okay,
and type latest amendments.
okay, sir.
I can share my screen. I can show you. So important ones from that you have to quote. Say regarding Solas, Marpol, etc. So you have a complete page, and
Okay,
that is the most verified place I think from where you'll get the. latest amendments, nowhere else.
So,
Go
but
to IMO.
if I prepare like latest 2, 3, or 3, 4 points per annex,
And
it's
enough.
okay.
They just want to know that whether you are aware of few latest amendments that have come,
Got it. Understood.
like regarding SOLAS or Marpol or anything else like this. So in container vessels, there is one important latest amendment that I am able to recollect now in SOLAS regarding firefighting. Uh, the high stacked containers.
Hmm.
Are you aware of this? How are they tackled? How the fire in the highly stacked container, say it is in the fourth stack, how will you firefight?
No, no, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Uh, so there is one technology called hydropen technology. You go to YouTube or somewhere, you'll find the description. So you can see this
Sir,
time IMO instruments upcoming and recent.
okay, sir.
You just type IMO latest amendments, you will find it in the IMO's this thing page itself. So that is the place where it is most convenient and better described. So you can go into more details of all these.
Okay, sir, I'll check
With
this.
listed and expected enter into force in the current year or forthcoming periods. अब जो which is not yet amended will see this 1st January 2024 SOLAS में you had this GMDSS modernization, then records of equipment FSS code, IGF code, LSA code.
Okay, sir.
Important ones that you will when you go through you will find that these things are important and more relevant to your vessel specific, like to your container vessel specific. So that is more that you have to read. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से you will find all latest.
Okay, got it, sir.
Okay, so for that you have that through that you just type it on this YouTube, you will find good video regarding hydropen technology.
Sir,
Okay.
and regarding this one question which they were making a problem was for the lifeboat debit test. So I was explaining to them the overload test where you load the lifeboat 1.1 times and then you release it. So he was telling me that there is something more. It's not just this. So, so as per my knowledge, what I know is just the dynamic brake test, dynamic overload test, and there is the swing test.
Yes, did you mention all these?
Yeah, I mentioned all these three, but you were saying it is not enough. There's something more you was asking for this.
Okay, I will also cross check the lifeboat debit. No,
Yes, sir.
I will let you know the answers regarding this question in WhatsApp group. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, these three questions I'll take from your side. Otherwise, you did fairly well. I'll give around 60 to 70% as per your answers.
Okay, sir.
Maybe the surveyor will go into little bit more details, but overall, when is your oral?
So the date has not yet come, but
So it will
probably
be
end of
around
this month.
10 days later on. No, you have 10 days
Around after 20th mostly.
after 20th. So
Because
you
the
have
Diwali
time.
also is there, so it changed dates.
So you
Sir, but is there any other specific topic or area which I could look
work
more
on.
for? Yes, like from your suggestions.
Regarding this safety, they'll mostly focus on the firefighting and life, like you are asking questions, no? Like,
Hmm.
see the important ones. You just jot it down in your notebook, like SOLAS ka what you have to study. important with respect to solars. And what all chapters are there, and some basically chapter 12 is important.
So
Additional
the
safeties
additional
of the
for bulk
what
health.
all safeties that you have to mention. Chapter 11 ISPS code you have to study. Chapter 9 you have already studied, you know what ISM code.
Yes.
ठीक है. New things जैसे कि EDI, EXI, I have asked you question, no? So these
That
are
I'll
all.
go through. The formulas you said it's important, so how it is calculated for EEXI and EEDI.
Formula is similar for both. Only thing is that in design index it is expected from the deadweight ton. The vessel's deadweight tonnage is actually taken into the picture, because when you are in the design stage, you are not aware how much cargo you are carrying, right? You are taking the complete vessel deadweight. Okay, but in case when you are calculating it for existing ships, EEXI, then you are taking the year-round data of the cargo carried. Okay, so the fuel you have burned is coming into gram of CO2, and then grams of fuel you burn. The fuel you burn, जैसे कि you are burning LNG, you are burning diesel oil, you are burning heavy oil. All will have different coefficient, carbon coefficient. Okay, so depending why LNG is more preferred to bring down the CO2 levels compared to your heavy oil. Why are they shifting into LNG more?
Coefficient will be less.
Coefficients is less.
The amount of CO2
I
released
think it is very. I mean, around 1 or 2 times. So 3 point something is your for heavy oil, and 1 point something is for LNG.
Okay.
So
but
that
is it
carbon
important for that
coefficient? Yeah, you can
specific
get it
values?
on Google. Huh?
Is
You
it
can get
better
it
if I
Google.
go through
Yeah,
that no,
you
values?
Google it, the values for the carbon coefficient. So you will get for every fuel there is a chart.
Okay, sir.
So that is why for existing ship, they'll take it, according to the fuel that you have burned. And where they will get the data for this? That is from IMO data collection system.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So from that you will get the data, and then you will gram of CO2 that you will emit by the burning of the fuel divided by ton into mile. Ton is the amount of cargo you have carried over the period of time that you have burned this amount of fuel. Okay. So 1 year you have to calculate that amount of fuel you have burned, types of fuel you have burned, and according to that you have gram CO2 from that divided by ton is the amount of cargo you have carried multiplied by distance you have covered in the year.
So if they ask for how it is calculated, if I give this explanation
yeah, this is good.
3 parameters, then it's
from the parameters. Explaining the formula, then it is okay. Good enough.
Okay, I'll make a note of this.
Okay. ठीक है then. Okay, Higgins. Good luck to you. Where are you appearing from?
So Mumbai, sir. Mumbai.
Okay, great. So best of luck for your I'll just check these doubts, and any other help if you need, just send a message on the group. We'll reply.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you so much
Best
for
of
this
luck.
session.
Okay. Bye. Take care.